right? And on top of that ocean, you've got an atmosphere that comes out like this. So that's your atmosphere. And that atmosphere is also really, 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 really big. So it's got to be made out of very, very common materials. There's just not enough oxygen in our solar system to make an atmosphere this big. So what's this atmosphere made out of, if you were to take a guess? What's this atmosphere probably made out of on Jupiter? There's not enough oxygen in our solar system. There's not enough carbon dioxide in our solar system. Hydrogen and helium. So the atmosphere of Jupiter is also made of hydrogen and helium, which means that the air and the ocean are made of the exact same stuff. Okay? The air and the ocean are made of the exact same stuff on Jupiter. And we're going to get into more detail about exactly how this works as we go along. But here's my question. Is that the same way on Earth? Is our air made of the same stuff that our ocean is made out of on Earth? Yes or no? Is the air of Earth made out of the same stuff as the ocean? No. Because our ocean is made out of water, and the air is made out of... You guys know what the air is made out of on Earth? What's the air made out of on Earth? What's this air that we're breathing? What's the air made out of? Oxygen is one of the things, but actually oxygen only makes up close to 25% of our air. So Earth air is made out of oxygen, O2. It's a molecule made of two oxygen molecules. But it's not the number one thing. Nitrogen is the number one thing. Somebody pointed that out. There we go. 75% of our air is made out of nitrogen. Close to 25% is oxygen. And these are rough percentages. We typically think of oxygen being the main thing in the air because that's what's useful for us to breathe. But there's 3 times as much nitrogen in the air as there is oxygen. We just breathe that nitrogen in, and we just breathe it right back out. Okay, those are probably, somebody's saying 78%, 21%, which are roughly 75, 25. Close enough. Now, here we go. So this causes a kind of a strange thing on Jupiter, okay? Makes Jupiter kind of weird. Here's a quick question. Have you guys been to the beach and seen the ocean? Have you guys seen the ocean before? On Earth, sorry, not the Jupiter ocean. Yeah, you've seen the ocean on Earth. When you go to the beach, do you have a hard time telling where the ocean starts? Do you have a hard time figuring out where the edge of the ocean is here on Earth? It's pretty easy to tell where the water is, right? Like if you walked up to it, like if this was the ocean, if you had your hand up here, your hand would be dry, and you could sort of go sploosh and get your hand in there. You're like, oh, my hand's wet now. And also you could see that edge, right? So you know where the sky is and where the ocean is, and you can kind of see it along the horizon, right? If you were to go to Jupiter, let's say I were to take you, okay, and I were to just drop you into Jupiter. I was just going to drop you into Jupiter. Number one, you're going to die. I'm sorry about that. Sorry I dropped you into Jupiter. But if you did, at first, you would be falling through the air, just like on Earth, right? You'd just be falling, and falling, and falling, and falling. But when you get to the ocean, you probably wouldn't splash, okay? In fact, you would probably go into the ocean without actually knowing that you had, okay? Because the air and the ocean are made of the same stuff, and because of the way the pressure works on this planet, Essentially what's going to happen is as you fall through the air, it would get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker, and eventually you'd float. So you'd just be like, ah. Eventually you could float. And you wouldn't even know where that transition was. There's no upper edge. The air just gradually becomes ocean as you get deeper. There's no like edge of the ocean that you could float a boat on. So boats wouldn't work. Even though the entire Jupiter has ocean all the way around it, and there's no land sticking up, there's no continents here, you would not be able to use a boat here. Boats just wouldn't work. It's very, very strange. Now, does Jupiter have land? Does Jupiter have land? And by land, we mean here solid material that's sticking up out of the ocean. Does Jupiter have any of that based on this picture? Oh, we got people starting to dip out. That's okay. No, right? So let's put over here in the terrestrial list, because we are mostly solid, we have a solid surface. A solid surface. Whereas over here, because Jovians are mostly liquid and gas, they do not have a solid surface. No solid surface. No land. And that's a little bit of just a definition type thing, so no solid surface for those guys. Okay? It's a little bit of a definition type thing. On terrestrial planets, because our ocean is so weak, because it's barely there, we consider the bottom of the ocean on the Earth to be a solid surface for the planet. So we have a solid surface all the way around. Whereas on the Jovian planets, in order to get to that solid, you would have to go all the way down to the very, very, very bottom of this ocean, okay? This solid is so deep under the ocean, we consider this to be the surface. So, Jovian planets have no solid surface. Now, by the way, check this out. Would you want to visit this solid surface down here at the bottom? Would you want to visit that place? Would you want to visit the core of Jupiter? No, you wouldn't. It's a bad idea. You definitely don't want to visit that core, okay? And the reason is pretty simple. Does anybody know what would happen to the human body if it goes to the bottom of the ocean? Does anybody know what happens to a human body if it goes to the bottom of Earth's ocean? Yeah, you're going to die, and you're going to be crushed by the weight of the ocean, right? Even though Earth's ocean is real barely there, even though Earth's ocean is kind of small compared to those Jovian planets, going to the bottom of Earth's ocean is going to put you under enough pressure that it will implode your body. Your body will be crushed into paste. There have been people who have accidentally been pulled to the bottom of our ocean in diving suits, and when they pull that diving suit back up, it looks like you can't see a human being inside because the human got turned into soup in the bottom of the the boots of the diving suit. So you can get basically liquefied by the pressure at the bottom of Earth's ocean. Sorry to put that image in your head. Sorry about that. So, would you want to go visit the bottom of Jupiter's ocean? No. It's going to be even worse, right? Why would it be even worse to go to the bottom of Jupiter's ocean? Why would it be worse? Give you guys. There's going to be even more pressure, right? And why would there be even more pressure? Why would there be even more pressure at the bottom of that ocean? There's a pretty simple reason that there's going to be more pressure. Yeah, this ocean is bigger, so it's heavier. Jupiter's gravity is pulling that ocean in, and so the heavier that ocean is, the more pressure you're going to have at the bottom of this ocean. So the pressure at the bottom of Jupiter's ocean is absolutely ridiculously higher. And also that the higher gravity of Jupiter means there's going to be even more pressure, right? So yeah, you're going to get absolutely destroyed if you were to visit the core of Jupiter. Now, why would you want to visit the core of Jupiter? Well, we said that the core of Jupiter is made out of the same basic materials that Earth is, but because of this extreme pressure, it's going to be in a slightly different form. Check this out. Let me give you one example. One type of material we have on Earth is carbon, right? Carbon. So on Earth, we have carbon, and most of the time, carbon is in the form of like coal or graphite. But yeah, as somebody's actually pointing out, what does carbon turn into when you squeeze it really, really, really tight when you put it under a lot of pressure? It turns into diamonds. So because the core of Jupiter probably has at least as much carbon as we have, but it's under an extreme amount of pressure, that means there's probably a ton of diamonds in the core of Jupiter. Think of all of the coal and all of the carbon in pencils and all of the carbon in the human body. All of that carbon is probably diamonds in here. So there's just bajillions and bajillions of diamonds in the core of Jupiter. So unfortunately, you can't go and bring it back, because if you were to dip down in that ocean, you would be destroyed. And also, by the way, if you brought that many diamonds out and brought them to Earth, what would happen to the value of diamonds? If you brought all the diamonds of Jupiter from Earth, if you brought all of the diamonds of Jupiter to Earth, what would happen to the value of diamonds in that case? Yeah, there's so many diamonds in Jupiter that diamonds would be basically worthless if we could get those diamonds out. Nobody would really care about diamonds nearly as much if they were just everywhere. So it's probably good that those diamonds are absolutely trapped. Okay, now that's enough about Jupiter for right now. We'll talk more about Jupiter when we talk about individual planets later.